All right. Good morning, everybody. Is it morning? It's still morning, at least on the East Coast. Hi, my name is Tricia Tate, and I am author of Dancing with Numbers and founder of FinCore. We are a fractional CFO company on a mission to change the lives of forward thinking business owners who are ready to grow and scale their businesses to peak financial performance so that one day they can exit successfully. In writing my book, Dancing with Numbers, I had wonderful interviews with 20 business owners who were self proclaimed non numbers people, but they grew multi-million dollar businesses. And so I thought how interesting it would be to bring some of those conversations to life. Now we have our LinkedIn Live Dancing with Numbers in real life. And so in conversation today, we have Sabrina HoSang Jordan, who is CEO of Caribbean Food Delights, Inc. I am super excited to have her here because I grew up on these beef patties, on these Jamaican beef patties. And now we have the founder's daughter here, who is the CEO. And I'm so excited to have her. So thank you, Sabrina, for being on today.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners, and good morning to
So,
you.
good morning to you. So, tell us about the evolution of the business and how it came to be and how you came to be in it. Just tell us about it.
All right, so the business, Caribbean Food Delights and Royal Caribbean Bakery, were started by my parents, Vincent and Jeanette HoSang, in 1978, so 48 years ago. They started out with a fried chicken store in the Bronx on Kingsbridge Road, and they called it Kingsbridge Delights. It was a failing fried chicken store they took over, and that's where they introduced the Jamaican cuisine and patties. So from there, they moved to Dyer Avenue, which is across from the number 5 train, and that's where they started manufacturing the patties on a larger scale. Um, they then moved from there. We still have that's our flagship store. They then moved from there and went to Mount Vernon, which is where our bakery is currently, the Royal Caribbean Bakery. So we make the hardo bread, spiced fruit buns, cakes and pastries, the black fruit cake, and all that. Yeah, so it's and we also had we were manufacturing both the patties and the bakery items there. Eventually, we decided to separate both businesses because the bakery is governed by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and the Caribbean Food Delights, the frozen food manufacturing, is governed by the USDA. So if there was an issue with the FDA for the bakery side, the frozen part, that the Caribbean Food Delights, would be affected. So we separated the businesses and we moved Caribbean Food Delights to Tappan, New York, in Rockland County. And that's where we manufactured the patties, and we continue to manufacture the bakery baked goods in Mount Vernon. So we moved in 1994 to Tappan, New York, and we are on 100. We're at 105 now. We just did an expansion, 105,000 square feet building on 10 acres of land. And yeah, so we make about 40,000 patties an hour. We sell to BJ's, Costco, Sam's, Walmart. We are the largest manufacturer of Jamaican patties in the world, and we
Wow.
are we are SQF level 3 certified. That's SQF stands for Safe Quality Food, and level 3 is the highest level attainable. And it's not a mandatory. Thank you. It's not a mandatory certification. It's something that we go through. It's a very vigorous audit that we go through just to show our customers that we go above and beyond with food safety and quality.
That is amazing. You said 40,000 beef patties a day. I
An
was
hour.
thinking an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was thinking, what does it smell like
Oh
on
my
those acres
God.
of land around there?
If you walk into work and you didn't eat breakfast, you're definitely going to want a patty off the line.
I think I would be eating so much if I was working there.
Yes, yes. But yeah, that's about 200 million patties a year.
Got it. So, okay. So it was started by first your immigrant parents. So my family's from Trinidad and Tobago, so I totally get having immigrant parents come to the United States and then make a whole big life for themselves. And now they've transitioned the family business over to the kids. And I know a number of people can connect with that. So talk to me about transitioning leadership in a family run business. I'm sure there's so many layers. What are some key things that you think need to happen for this to be done well or smoothly? And this is just you giving advice to other people who are making similar transitions, especially from parent to kids or mother to daughter, or what have you.
Sure. So when you transition your business to your children, it's important that you put them in positions that they're competent in. Don't just give out titles because you want to keep the peace in the family. In fact, that will create the opposite effect and may lead to your business failing. I actually once spoke to a chairman of a very successful fast food chain, which is family owned, and he said his children have to earn their titles. If they're not fit for a position, they will not get it. Um, it's important to do what you're good at. You can't be in a position where you're not fulfilling your duties. It will cause resentment towards you and loss of credibility with others. You need to stay in your lane. For example, if you're good at marketing, um, but you're not good at accounting, for example, um, you start doing accounting duties when you already have somebody in there. You might mess up the books or cause issues with the accounting person, and you're actually creating extra work for that person because they may have to clean up your mess. um, and because you're not focusing on what you're good at, like the example, the marketing duties, then marketing could also suffer. Um, and you could be spreading yourself too thin as well. If you don't love what you do, then you have to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Why are you in this position? And why aren't you fulfilling your duties? I'm speaking from a family business point of view.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have a supportive team around you. You can't do this alone.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
team has to be united and that believes in teamwork, working together in harmony. Just having one person or like one department that isn't willing to work with the rest of the team can actually cause the morale to go down and the team to be dysfunctional.
Wow. How
And
many people do you all have?
we have about 175 employees.
Wow. Right? So it's like 175 family members, but to your point, thank you for sharing that. I love what the guy said about earning your title. I think that's the same for whether it's a family run business or any business, right? So as the business evolves, you need different people on the team and people with different expertise. And you are never going to hire a, a regular person who does not have the specialty or the expertise, because you're just setting them up for failure. And it is causing a bigger challenge to you, and it takes more time. All the points that you made earlier. So whether it's a family member or someone that's coming through like a recruiting process, I love that. You got to earn your title.
Yes, yes, that applies to all businesses, not just family businesses, and especially family businesses. You know, the family members are the backbone of the family business. So if those relationships are not strong and united, the company will eventually fall apart. So it's very crucial that the family members work together for it to be successful.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a plug in here because I have parents that are of a certain age, and a lot of for family members of a certain age. Please do your estate planning. When you're doing your estate planning and you're creating the wills and the trusts and all the documentation, if you have a family run business, document in there who you want to take over to do what, because if it's not stated, then they're going to have to go through even bigger problems trying to get just ownership of the business, because then it has to go through the court and it has to go through probate and all of these things. And so for the parents out there, if you're thinking of transitioning it to your kids or your niece or your nephew or what have you, it is better that it is documented in your estate planning than you will be doing more harm than good if you don't say it, dictate or instruct what you want to have happen. So I just wanted to put an extra plug out there for those who are avoiding dancing around estate planning. If you have a business, like, take care of all of the things within your estate planning.
Absolutely, that's a very good point because I'm going through that right now, and I'm also learning what not to do and what to do with my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so this is a show called Dancing with Numbers, and I want to talk to you a little bit about managing the financials of your kind of business. We've had a food company business, we've had a hardware industrial business on here, but in your food manufacturing and global distribution company, what are 3 to 5 financial or non-financial metrics that you track to let you know that the business is performing well?
So I've been focusing more on the cash flow. Cash flow is very important. Cash is king. We actually use three cash flow models. The first is what we call the 13-week benchmark. It's what we measure ourselves against.
Okay.
The second is the 13-week roll forward. So we take what we learned from the benchmark and roll forward a separate model. We're always looking 13 weeks out.
Okay.
Uh, the third is our daily scorecard, which is equally important. The contents of the daily scorecard are confidential, but the three models blend together our cash projections and daily monitoring of our cash position. So in the end, cash is all that matters, but we constantly monitor our cash position. And another thing we also look at is looking at efficiency. So our machines, like I said, can make 40,000 patties an hour. But
Wow.
of course, there'll be waste, machine breakdowns, things may not go perfectly as planned. But if we're not even close to that number, 40,000 patties an hour, then we really need to look at what is causing the inefficiency. Time is money. So the time you're not producing is money wasted.
Right. Right. So love what you said about cash is king. I say we could say cash is king, cash is queen, the whole royal flush. No matter whether your business is $100,000 or $100 million, like if you don't have cash to keep the lights on, I say that all the time, then you're dead in the water, right? So managing cash flow is super crucial, and I totally get that. But in your company, machine efficiency, I'm sure, is really important. To your point, what is the throughput, what is the output, what is the shortage, what is the leakage, those kind of things.
Mhm.
I'm also going to make a little assumption here. You could confirm or disconfirm, but I don't know how many SKUs you have of items, of products, but I'm hoping you also look at the profitability of each SKU over time to see which ones are performing well in what parts of the nation, in what countries, whether it's going to Costco or BJ's, because then you can make a determination as to like what to push more for that customer segment. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So, for example, we have unbaked patties and baked patties. The filling is always cooked. So, the unbaked and the baked is referring to the dough. Um, the unbaked, we use less. We don't use the oven, so we're not using gas. We're not paying for gas to bake the patties. So that is less, costly to us. Baked patties are the most popular ones because we sell them to BJ's, Costco, Sam's, Walmart in the microwavable pouch. So, but that also brings in a lot of revenue. So yeah, you do have to weigh your pros and cons and see what your profit margin is and what makes most sense. Because if you're not making money, what's the point of making it?
That's exactly right. We worked with a client once, they were a beauty skincare company, and we had to look at the profitability of each SKU. And the interesting thing is, there were a bunch of SKUs that were negative profitability, right? So get rid of those. But the most popular product had low profitability. But you can't get rid of the most popular thing. So you have to strategically make it the loss leader and make up money somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Have you all experienced something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, our beef patty is the most popular, the beef spicy.
Right.
Um,
I love it.
But for example, like our store in Jerk Cuisine in Mount Vernon, they'll come in for the patty, but then they'll also purchase a meal, or they'll purchase the hardo bread, or so it brings them to the store, because it's such a popular item.
Brings them to the store, and then we end up buying the Escovitch fish or the something that's
Yes,
now $25, and we didn't plan to spend that much money when we walked up in there.
that's right.
Uh, but then you got the smell. Anyway, so I'm having my own moment. So in a food business, what's most impactful to the margins? Is it ingredients? Is it shipping because you're global? Or is it something else?
So they all have an impact. So yes, ingredients, the packaging, labor, overhead, like utilities, expansion. We have expansion expenses now, equipment, logistics, of course, because what you're paying. It all contributes to what your profit margin is. So if your prices of inflation of the raw materials go up, that's definitely going to affect your margin. Beef prices for us went up. The logistics, trucking, shipping, storing in cold storage, outside cold storage, affects the price. So you're constantly looking at what can you reduce, what cost can you reduce. So what you can do is you can either raise the sales price,
Hmm.
or cut your own costs, or just make an equity infusion. But the last option would really, you'd never want to self fund losses. So the key is always generating profitability and positive cash flow.
Yeah. So to that point, what funding avenues have you used over the existence? I forget how many years you all have been in business.
48,
48.
2 years from 50. We're going to, we're so
That's
excited.
it. That's like my age. Wow. I'm sorry. I never thought about that. Okay. What funding avenues have you all used, and do you have any anecdotes at this point? Have you all bootstrapped the entire? Did you all go for investors? Like, what have you all
Um,
done?
yeah, so we've been with our bank since inception. Um, Due to our long-standing relationship with them, and they've helped us grow over the years. We wouldn't be where we are without their help. But there's always people out there that can lend you money. Money. It just depends on the cost and the terms. Like, there will always be covenants involved that you must meet. It can vary based on the risk, but a good attorney can review the loan documents. But yeah, we've expanded in 2007. We added an extra line, and they were there right behind us. And then again with this expansion. So it really, the expansion that we recently did, we outgrew the space, because when we started at the location in Tappan, um, we had about 80 employees. So we're at 175 now, and you can imagine trying to fit 175 people in a cafeteria, a locker room. So yeah, the space was, extra space was needed, and then we also upgraded our line. So yeah, without their support, we would not be able to grow.
So I hope one day to be invited to this.
Absolutely, you can come anytime.
'Cause, I mean, I'm just imagining the smell, like, of the bakery and the manufacturing. So, having not been there, I love to play. This is like a mind game to me. Whenever I meet a new business, I'm automatically thinking of what the P&L looks like. What do you have to pay for? Okay, so you have a space, so you got to pay for this space. Then you have equipment in this space. Then you have to maintain the equipment in the space. Then you have to pay the people, of course, the payroll. Then you have trucks to deliver to places, right? So you have to pay for the truckers, the gas, the tolls. Oh God, New York tolls and congestion pricing. I don't know if you have to deal with that. So then, of course, you have to pay for the utilities, lots of gas, light bills, right? And
Yes.
then packaging. At this point, packaging is essentially streamlined because people are familiar with, the brand and the packaging, and but you still got to pay for the packaging, and then to ship, globally. So the sizes of the box, right? I'm just thinking through like all the things, and then like you have your administrative office. So I'm just thinking through all of those things, and um you said you have leveraged your bankers and the funding of that for this growth and this expansion, and to pay for all of these different things or fund these different things. I'm glad you mentioned the banker, because it's important to have a good banking relationship that you trust to take you throughout the development of your business. In fact, I was at South by Southwest in Austin this past week, and I moderated a panel where one of the women said, "You have to have your bail team." And I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Every business owner should have a good banker, a good accountant or accounting financial stack, depending on the stage of business you're in, insurance person, and a good lawyer." And to that, I added the letter H. So now it's BHAIL, and H is a good HR person, because with 175 people, I'm sure people issues come up. And I'm not going to dig into that, but I want you to talk to us about one or two of the biggest financial challenges you've experienced as, the new CEO.
So, one of the challenges, especially in a family business, is continuing and bringing the family business to the next level. My parents did a great job with bringing us to where we are, but yes, times are different now. So I'm constantly strategizing the company's growth. Like I'm always thinking about the future, preparing the company for future growth and success. If you don't have a strong financial team, and just like you said, have those important people in your corner, the HR, the bank, the attorney, all of those, you're going to be hitting a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that if I don't have the right people, I'm like, I feel like I'm dragging. I like they're pulling me back. So luckily, I have a great team, and just like the bank is behind us, and we are able to move forward. Um, we would love to trend towards $250 million. So our goal is to keep moving up.
That is great. That is great. And so in the time that you've taken over, and the business has grown to a certain place. I don't know what revenue level you are now. If you feel comfortable sharing, that would be great. Um, but I'm sure you've had some bumps in the road, right? What is the biggest sort of financial challenge or financial related challenge you have faced as a CEO?
So currently, it's for example, we want to put out a lot more products. We have so many different ideas, but if your machines aren't capable, right now we have like 12% more capacity that we can utilize. So we haven't maxed out capacity, but eventually you got to start thinking about: do you purchase another building? Do you get how many more lines do you purchase? And that also involves funding, capital. So that would be the challenge, I would say, because especially our product is not a luxury item. It's something it has, has a small profit margin, so we really have to sell a lot to make the money. So um, and you really have to watch your spending and cut your costs. So I think that's one of the challenges we have. Like when you're growing and you're growing and you keep outgrowing yourself, but it's like getting the funding to move to the next level.
Yeah. And also, I'm curious about the implications of technology in your business. Have you found that people in the food manufacturing business or in your business are leveraging like robotics, or I don't know if AI plays a part in a manufacturing business? Does that help bring efficiencies, or is would that be another thing you have to figure out how to fund?
We do. We actually started early with the robotics. Our lines are very automated, so it did reduce the labor cost. And it's so much quicker. I mean, if you see one line, if I show you the one line and the other line, how much more versus our old line and the new line, you're going to be like, oh my God, look how quickly the robots are moving, versus, being hand packed, for example. So yeah, it really helped our efficiency. And AI, yes, it's the trend now. I mean, everybody's on it, so it's been helping a lot of people, a lot of companies.
Yeah. And that's an investment, right? Like when do you tend to see the like investment you have a return on investment? Like in the robotics. How long did it take for a return on investment there, you think?
Oh, I mean, we saw it immediately because the labor costs went down. We were able to produce more in a quicker, more efficiently and effectively, and we were able to meet orders quicker than before.
Okay, wonderful. So you talked about having a great team, right? As you were growing up in the business, who was on the money team? How did it evolve over time?
So we do have our accounting firm that we use, financial advisors. We are in the process of hiring a fractional CFO and a controller.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we have to have a strong financial team in place. I know that you and I have spoken about this and I would I would urge your listeners to use your services, or because it's very important to have that strong financial team. You can't function without that. They have to be there to guide you financially. Like, as a CEO, I need financial information every day to make business decisions and
Mm,
to bring the company to the next level. So if I don't have that in place, you really can't grow.
right. Um, how did you thank you for saying that. How did you level up your financial knowledge? Yes, you grew up in a family business, but that doesn't automatically mean you have a business degree. So, how did you level up your knowledge, and what made you feel confident making the financial decisions you do today?
Sure. So I make sure that I have the financial tools that are simple so that my stakeholders can understand and I can communicate that to them. Again, having the strong financial team, you really need professional advice to grow your company. The minute that you spot a growth trend, and especially when the capital structure gets complicated, you really should hire the CFO, if you don't have one. They need to be able to close the books. They need to be able to communicate with the bank or the lender. They really need to roll up their sleeves. They're there for you. It's important that you keep good records and books. And my financial advisor says it's best to have monthly financial statements instead of quarterly, because you really do you drill down on what you need to see financially in the business, so you can focus on what's working, what's not.
Yeah. Um, I agree. That's what we do. That's what we do with our clients. Like, we are looking at the basic financial reports, the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet, cash flow on a monthly basis. But then, depending on the type of business that you're in, there are other performance metrics that need to be looked at, whether they're financial or non-financial. They may be people oriented or marketing oriented, or if you're online, clicks to cart, you know, various things. But to your point, they should be looked at on a monthly basis, because that's the easiest way to see a trend or to see a dip, and then jump on it if something needs to be changed. Um, at this stage in your business revenue wise, I would call this like growth maturity. So I talk about the 5 phases of a business's life cycle in my book, Dancing with Numbers. In chapter 7 is called Don't Freestyle Your Financials. And I talk about the different business stages and who you should have on your money team. And so what I'm hearing from you is you have someone to do the taxes, you got your accounting team, you got the bookkeeper. I don't know how many bookkeepers you have. Um, do you all have a controller and then a CFO as well? So like CPA, but like a full a full financial team at this point?
Yeah, so I usually have, well, we're hiring a fractional CFO, but
Okay.
if you have a really good controller,
Hmm.
then you may not need the CFO right now. But if you want to move to the next level, the CFO is it, because the CFO will strategize your plans for growing. The controller will do like the day to day activities, which you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's important to have that both if you want to move to the next level.
And I want to make a point of clarity for people. So there's accounting and there is finance. There are two different subject matters, but one feeds into the other. And so within accounting, at the top level of accounting is a controller. And the I would say that a controller is even more important in a product based company when you're managing inventory, and you have to make sure that the ins and outs of the inventory, whichever inventory method you use, is very tightly held and watched and managed from an accounting standpoint. So accountants are very much stickler for the standards and the categories that things need to be in, whereas a finance person is like reading the beef patty spreadsheet, like, okay, these beef patties going to New York are doing better than the ones going to Idaho. And so therefore we need to pump New York with like new stuff. But oh, the New Yorkers like spicy beef patty, so we can't screw with the spicy beef patty because that's what that's what they need, right? So that's where like a CFO is reading the tea leaves and saying, here's where we need to go. And if you're imagining a future with different kind of beef patties, not colored ones, por favor. It like the Irish, no, we don't need a St. Patty's beef patty. Like, don't do it. But if you're,
It was a saint yesterday.
I know we don't need a Saint. We don't know. We don't need a Christmas beef patty. No, we don't. Okay. Anyway, this is my personal views. But as you are thinking about new ideas for growth and new product ideas, a CFO is also helpful in figuring out what makes financial sense to do or not to do. So thank you for sharing about your money team. So I love to ask this question at towards the end of an interview. What are your earliest memories around money? What was the lesson and who taught it to you? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Don't think too hard.
I'm like, where do I start? So both my parents grew up poor, and they've always said they never want to be poor again. So I actually had a Fisher Price piggy bank when I was
I
like,
love it. Me too. Me too.
and I would always put the coins that I got, like any money that I got for Christmas or birthdays, and I put it in there. And whenever my dad always says, put away a portion of your salary after expenses and save it, because you don't need to buy expensive sneakers. You don't need to buy expensive watches. Nobody's going to care that you're wearing $1,000 watch versus a $10 watch. They're not going to know the difference. And there's like a lot of knockoffs out there too. So we didn't waste a lot of things. Like, for example, those plastic bags that you get from the supermarket, we reuse them for garbage, the garbage bins. And it's just, we watched what we spent. We didn't spend unnecessarily. We only bought what you needed, the essential items. And my mom, when we went shopping, she always looked for bargains. If something was not on sale, she wasn't buying it. Yeah, so I just remember my dad always says save, don't buy expensive like brand name items. Just if it's just buy something practical, something that if it works. If you buy sneakers, it doesn't have to have the Nike name on it. Just sneakers that work for you, and um, you know, and it also, there's another thing too. He did say buy quality items. Didn't mean that it did have to be $1,000, but if a quality item was like maybe $50 more than the cheaper brand, you don't want to end up buying and buying again if the cheaper brand wears out easily. So he did talk about quality, which is something that is instilled in us even with the business. So that's why quality is always our priority. That's our motto. Quality is our priority.
I was going to ask you if any of those childhood memories or lessons around saving, not overspending, get the bargain, quality, how have those shown up in how you think about money today, personally and in the business?
Yeah. So, for example, we believe in giving the highest quality products. So we will not skimp if the product, our customers are used to a certain taste. They'll know if you switch to a lower ingredient, like a lower quality ingredient, or if you're not putting the right ingredients in there, or authentic Jamaican ingredients. So we make sure that they're getting what they pay for. But at the same time, you also do, again, have to watch your profit margin. So if there is a beef that is similar quality, we will purchase that versus buying another beef that's a lot more and it's affecting our profit margin. Um, Personally, I just feel that I've always strived for like the best. So my dad always says, if you put something on the table, like I'm a baker and a cook. So if I baked, for example, banana bread and I put it on the table and it's gone, like just everybody grabbed it. He says that is the type of product you want to put out. You want that product gone. If it's still sitting there, you may have to like change your recipe or something. But yeah, we're always prioritizing quality and also watching the bottom line as well.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So since my book is called Dancing with Numbers and this is called Dancing with Numbers in Real Life, I want you to dive into your creative self and I want you to describe the dance with your numbers when you started, when you took over as CEO. So when you started versus what does the dance with your numbers look like today?
Hmm. So my parents started the business.
Well, you
I
don't have to go back that far. We can talk about when you took over.
okay. So I've always been very creative. A lot of ideas come to me. For example, like okay, it doesn't people appreciate. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean like okay, if they're for example, if they are unhappy with the product, it doesn't necessarily mean that you just send them a refund. Sometimes you send them a nice gift, a care package, or even call them and say thank you for your support and really talk to them one on one. My dad always says they don't want to talk to answering machines. They want to talk to a real person. So I make sure that I put that personal touch and I really make the time to appreciate them and thank them for their support because they could have chosen any of the products. So it doesn't necessarily have to be always about money. People see that you put in your time when you give back, for example. I don't just donate money. I actually put my time in because I want to show that I really care, and this is my passion. I want to help other people. So you'll see me, giving out food instead of just saying, here's $100 or here's $1,000. I'll be there to support because it's important for me to show others that I support them because they're supporting our business as well.
Yeah. So if I were to turn what you said into like a dance, how should I describe it?
Hmm. I mean, I'm always dancing, I guess. I'm always dancing. It's just you really have to have fun with it too. You can't be too serious, and I just feel that the personal touch. Yes, you do have to look at your numbers and you work it out and you make it work for you.
Hmm.
But I think it's everything matters. It just not just the numbers. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
I think based on what you said, you brought in some old school values. Like they want to talk to people, especially old school Caribbean people or old school people. They want it so your dance, today might be a little new school and a little old school. A
Yeah,
little
I mean, you do have to gauge it. Like some people, you have to know what's important to them. Maybe
yeah,
it's the money. Maybe they want the refund and that's it. Or maybe they really wanted to know that you cared, or that they were listened to. So things like
yeah,
that. Like so, yeah, it's that. I really like get really in tuned with people, and I listen to them, and
mhm,
I pay attention because they want to know. They want to feel seen. They want to
yeah,
feel valued.
yeah. I want to ask another thing. Well, a couple things came to mind, but in the interest of time, um, I know you grew up in the business. But you just said it was your passion. Like, has it always been your passion, or were you unsure if you wanted to like take over and stay in that? Was there any point where you were unsure, or was there something that triggered it turning into a passion? Because that doesn't happen for every like person in a family business.
That's a very good question. I usually get asked that a lot. So I've always wanted to be my own boss. Ever since I was little, I think just following my dad around and just learning the business. And then my mom, she was always baking and cooking in the kitchen. So I learned from a very young age how to bake and cook. So I wanted to feed people and I wanted to help people because that's what my family does. Like they love helping people and they also love feeding people. So I thought that this business was perfect for that and I would be my own boss. My parents really saw in me that I would, you know, take over the CEO role. So I really appreciate that they saw that in me and had the confidence in me and supported me with that. But yeah, this is something I've always wanted to do. Never had a doubt, and I love it. It's my passion, and I get to help people and I get to feed people.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, Sabrina, thank you. Well, I'm gonna leave you with some last remarks. Is there anything else that you would like to add for someone out there who is in the throes of growing their food manufacturing and distribution business? Any points of advice or anything else you would love to share?
I would say connect with people that share your same passion. Surround yourself with supportive people because you can't do this alone. Network, get out there. Speak to people like me. I'm willing to give advice if you want it. I love helping others, so find a mentor and get the assistance, personal assistant, whatever you need to get your job done because you're going to need it. You're going to need that support team.
Yeah. And you mentioned if you're in a food business, making sure that you hit those quality marks according to the USDA or federal DA. How can they reach you or connect with you even after this, and where can they find the beef patties?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on the social media, Instagram and Facebook. But they can also reach out to me at the company. If they go to the website, they can call the number, ask for me. My email is there as well on the LinkedIn. So yeah, reach out to me. Say that we had they met me through the the interview with you,
Hmm.
and we connected and the beef various supermarkets, also internationally through Costuless, Price Smart, and the military commissaries. We are in
Oh
180
wow.
military commissaries.
That's amazing. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Um, you also are still connected very much with Jamaica and giving back
Yes.
in Jamaica. How important is that? Like charitable, I don't know, charitable contribution, but connecting to Jamaica and other places and spaces. How important is that?
Oh, that is very important. My parents always said, "Don't forget where you came from, where your roots are," and of course, like as I mentioned, my parents both grew up poor, so they want to help others, and thankfully I want to continue that legacy because I can go on about all the philanthropy work that we do, but just giving back is such a great feeling, and just giving back to your own people as well. It's so important because you can't forget where your roots are. You can't forget where you came from. And I went recently on a mission trip, and they need it because the hurricane Melissa really affected them. So
Mm.
we're still raising money for that, and we've been giving to those in need. But yeah,
Mm.
it was very devastating to see. So yeah, it's very important to me. Philanthropy has always been a part of our lives, and I grew up in being a philanthropist. So with both my parents being philanthropists.
Yeah. Is there a website where people could continue to donate or give?
Yes, there is the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation. So it's just the acronym VHFF.org.
Okay, let me see
So
if
it
I can
stands for
spell
Vincent HoSang Family Foundation.
V8.
Via, yeah, Vincent, like V as in Victor,
Mm-hmm.
H,
Mm-hmm.
and then F as in Frank, F as in Frank,
Okay.
.org.
Okay. VHF.org. And let me put this in Vincent Jose, because that's dad, right?
Yes, Vincent HoSang Family Foundation.
Okay. So I'm gonna share that. So I'm sharing that with everyone. In the meantime, Vincent Hosang Family
Family
Foundation. Sorry, I
Foundation.
missed
So
the family. But
VHFF, there's two F's.
oh, two F's. Okay. Oops, sorry. I'm so
That's
sorry. I'm
okay.
so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. See, this is why I like live, because then I can make corrections on the fly.
Oh,
Boom, there it is.
that's cool. Yeah.
All right. So, Sabrina, thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for sharing more about Caribbean Food Delights Inc. You all heard how to get a hold of her. It's been wonderful to have a conversation, not just about family, but about purpose and profits, which that's the kind of companies that we at FinCor love to work with. Again, thank you for all of those listeners out there in LinkedIn, whether you're with us live or you watch afterwards. Please leave if you still have questions for me or for Sabrina afterwards. Please leave them in the comments that are attached to this live. We are also on YouTube, so leave your questions or your comments in that area too. My name again is Tricia Tate. I'm founder of FinCore, and I love doing this dancing with numbers in real life. So stay tuned for our next event. And once again, thank you, Sabrina, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. And again, thank you to all of our supporters, employees, customers, friends for their support over the past 48 years. We would not be here without their support. So thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, 48 years. I've been eating beef patties for 48 years. Well, ever since I was able to. Okay, not about me. Thank you very thank you very much.
Thank you so much.